Welcome back to Mystic Fix. I am speaking with Patty Rickman, who is a psychic medium. You're also a spiritual advisor and a healer, I believe, right, Patty?
Yes, I certainly am. It's great to
Yeah.
be here. Thank you for having me.
Thanks. Yeah. So I found you, Patty, sort of, through my sister who had a reading with you at the Illuminate Festival in Ocean City, Maryland, where I was doing tarot card readings. And she was completely floored by you. And in the time
But
that, in the short time since the festival, she's told me there was some things you said that didn't quite sound right that have already come true. So,
oh
um,
wow, that's amazing.
yeah, but she actually got a lot of healing around you. I'm sure you read for a number of people that day, but you saw some pets of hers that had passed away that she was just carrying so much grief around. Like it really messed up her life for a while. So let's start with, what you do so for my sister, you were open and seeing spirits around her, including animal spirits, right?
Correct.
What
Yes, correct.
Explain for those who don't really understand what a psychic medium is, what a psychic medium does. Explain what you do.
Okay, great. So I first was able to communicate with spirits when I was 8 years old, and that sounds kind of young, but I'm an old soul. It came authentically to me, and my mother really cultivated that with me. Her mother, my grandmother, she was very intuitive. She felt things, although at that time they didn't understand what it was. So my mother was, she had, she understood what that was. And
Mm-hmm.
so I would write short stories and I would express what I was seeing and feeling with her, and I was drawing things, and she just always made me feel like it was okay. And because of that, I believed in my gift more and more, if that makes sense. So I'm originally from Baltimore, Maryland,
Uh-huh.
and I moved to Long Neck, Delaware, which is where I felt motivated by spirit to open up my shop. And my shop is called Serendipitous. Your spiritual oasis awaits you. And I know that's a little bit of a long name because they already branded the name Serendipity in the area. So I have always, Serendipitous has always been the name of my shop, and I manifested that along with my spirit guides. And I always knew that I was going to open up this shop, and I decided that the beach location was the best fit. And I did that about 7 years ago. And I've been reading professionally for about 8 to 9 years.
Mm-hmm.
And I am a psychic medium, which means that I can communicate with those who have departed. And that has been a gift that I've had ever since I was 8 years old, probably prior to it. But that's my first real memory of that, or recall of that experience. And being able to be in touch with pets as well, because you touched on what your experience with, or your sister's experience with our reading. And I've been able to communicate with pets that have departed as well ever since that age of 8. And it just
Mm-hmm.
really means that I can feel, I can hear, I get messages both, through auditory means. I see videos, I see pictures, I can hear actual words. I've had spirits present their, human form to me many times, but I get messages from all sorts of senses, really.
Uh-huh. Great. And so what is the experience? Like if I'm a client of yours and I walk into your shop, or let's say I'm across the country and I want a reading, can you help me that way?
Absolutely. I do remote sessions. And a lot of times clients, they don't understand how that can be the same as being right in front of me, but the energy is the same. The vibrational energy is what I channel. So I'm
Mm-hmm.
able to do Zoom readings as well as phone readings. And, I have also done text messages readings and email readings. And it's the same because I channel the vibrational energy is what I
Uh-huh.
do. I dial into somebody's vibrational energy, and I'm able to essentially transport my energy to them, or they transport their energy to me. But a
Mm-hmm.
typical session would be whether a client's coming into my shop or whether I am doing a phone or a Zoom. I do prayers and affirmations. And what that does is it protects my client, the space between us, as well as my space before I do any reading. And then I will go into the reading, and I use a notebook, and I call it scribing. I'm not sure a lot of other psychic mediums call it that. It kind of looks like doodling. A lot of people tell me it looks like clouds. And I've done that ever since I was 8. And what that does is that helps me connect to my client's vibrational energy. And I'm able to receive those messages more clear. I still receive them, even though I don't do the scribing all the time, but it's easier for me to channel into the vibrational energy with the scribing.
Okay, yeah, that's interesting. I know one other person who does that here in the St. Louis area, Julie Weller, and she spiritual doodles, kind of as she's coming. Yeah, yeah, that's so cool. Yeah, that's nothing. I've never pursued that. I'm a professional tarot card reader, and so I work in a similar way as far as the energy goes, even down to text messages and email readings. Which some people prefer for the anonymity. And I think some people want to know that we're working entirely off of vibrations and connecting with the oneness and not getting visual cues or hints on body language, that kind of thing. So it's maybe a way to prove ourselves. I never set out to do it that way with my tarot cards, but I just answered the call when people asked, and it seemed to work as well as anything. So what's your story,
Right.
Patty? As far as how long have you been a professional psychic medium?
So about 9 years, I would say professional. Prior to that, I've always received messages, and I passed those messages. To me, it's kind of like the divine agreement. I did that ever since, a young adolescent. And what that means to me is that I agreed that I would pass messages along to anybody that needed those messages. And I was quite bold about it, even at a young age. Even in high school, I remember, getting messages from some people that have departed, really, really young people, and they would come through and want me to deliver the messages to peers. And even though it seemed nerve-wracking, I still abided by those spiritual contracts, those divine contracts, and I did pass those messages along. And as you know, and I'm sure a lot of other not only psychics but psychic mediums will probably say, it gets easier over the years, with more practice and more confidence and more validations. And now I don't think anything of being in the grocery store and receiving a message and walking up and introducing myself. Hello, my name is Patty Rickman. I'm a psychic medium. I own the shop here in Long Neck, or wherever I am, whatever town I am. I explain where I'm from and where my shop is located. And I'm receiving a message from someone that's wishing to give you a message that has departed. Are you open to that? And it's important for me to ask if those potential clients are open, because I never, for me, I would never want to impose any messages that are trying to come if the person isn't open to receiving them. And it's also important for the person that is delivering the message from the other side as well. So,
has it been mostly positive? Like when you've done that kind of thing?
Absolutely. It has been, I can't think of a negative experience that I've had, to be honest. It's all been positive. And I will say, you were speaking about skepticism or skeptics earlier. And to me, I feel the same way you do. I get that question a lot. Do you get like frustrated when somebody's skeptical? And my answer always is, and I feel this authentically, never. I actually gravitate towards the person in the room that really doesn't believe. And I will go up to that person and start to talk to them if I'm receiving messages. And usually by the end of the message, there's tears, there's joy, there's, a decompression of their energy. They feel heard and validated. They feel like a weight has been lifted off their shoulders a lot of times, kind of like your sister felt with Pom Pom.
You still remember?
Yeah. Did you ever meet Pom Pom, by the way?
I did. Yeah.
Okay. Well, so because I usually don't keep the information, but there has been communication since we started this call, so it just kind of came through. Yes. So, but yeah, that happens all the time. And I gravitate towards those who might not authentically be motivated to be open to this, and so it's not for me, that I don't fear that. I never have. And I'm grateful that I don't fear that, but I never have. And it's always been a positive experience. I really have never had a negative experience.
Wow. Is there a standout story you could share of some kind of event that was life-changing, either for someone else or even for you? I know I'm putting you on the
Yes. I
spot.
mean, no, no, it's okay. It's all right. It's certainly okay. I will, if it's okay, I'll share two.
Yeah.
The first time I was very young. I was probably in my mid 20s. I'm 50 now. And I was at a car wash. And this gentleman and his son came through from the other side and immediately wanted me to approach his wife and the mom, his son's mom, let her know that they were okay. And they had recently passed in a car accident. So I knew a little bit of the backstory because they shared a little bit of the backstory. I saw the accident, and sometimes, a lot of times actually, being a psychic medium, I actually am, they will show me the event. I feel the event. I see, I smell, I look around at different things. I'm able to really put myself in the place of the event at the time that they passed or departed. So I walked up to the woman and I said, I'm sorry, you don't know me. My name is Patty Rickman. I am a psychic medium. And even then, I had the confidence to say and articulate that and boldly present that. And I said, your husband, Robert, has come to me, and your son, Bobby, and they wish to let you know that they're okay. The accident that happened not too long ago, they're both together, they're okay. I wanted to let you know that he's very, grateful for how you handled his funeral. And I just went on and on and on. And then the tears just flowed and flowed. And she hugged me and she thanked me. She said, Patty, I'm so grateful that you came up to me today, because I have been in a really dark place, and I so appreciate you've changed that all around. And she reached out to me a few times after that to let me know she was okay, which I appreciated. She validated more that came through in that reading, and that story has stayed with me. That was like one of the first experiences being out and having, a father and a son that had passed away tragically in an automobile accident, him placing me at the scene of the accident, me feeling everything. I even talked to her about her not being able to be at the hospital before they passed. And, I went on, and she validated all of that. I described the car's color, exactly what happened in the accident, full details. And she was completely blown away. I was completely blown away. It was just a
Wow.
very moving experience.
Wow. Oh, got chills. Let's take a quick break for messages. And when we come back, we will have you do a reading for me.